Yeah, first of all, appreciate you guys coming out. Appreciate our fans. I know it's an odd time of the day on a Sunday, so appreciate those that were able to make it. Just want to give a shout out to our volleyball team. The season they've had, just really, really incredible run. And just want to pay respect to them. I also want to pay respect to IU Indy, just a scrappy team. They compete hard. They play really hard. We knew defensively, they create a lot of turnovers, and so want to give credit to them as well. Obviously disappointed in maybe the way that we played in stretches. Felt like it was a direct reflection to the way that we practiced, and our players understand this, the importance of being locked in and engaged and really stacking days. And I don't think we executed that at a high level this week. Always a challenging week with finals and just academic demands, fatigue from the season. We had some good days, we had some good stretches, but we didn't knock it out of the park by any stretch of the imagination. You always feel like this is somewhat of a trap game going into Christmas, and I'm so excited for them to spend some time with their family and friends. And it's hard. It's hard to just stay where those feet are, because you're so close to just after getting after it for so long, to be able to have a break. So glad that we were finally able to get a stretch in there in that third quarter that I thought looked pretty solid. And got to play everybody, which is always a great way to go into Christmas break. And proud of the girls for what they've been able to do in this non-con, and we know it only gets tougher from here. There's a lot.
All right, we'll start with questions for the student athletes.
Lacey and Lily, can you each of you speak to kind of the challenge? Coach talked about the turnovers and some of the, it looked like Indy was really kind of into you guys and challenging you from their defensive standpoint. But what was the challenge there in terms of trying to cut down on turnovers or even prevent them?
I think, like Coach said, we did have a few practices where we weren't all locked in, and I think that definitely did impact that standpoint, being connected and knowing when someone's going to backdoor, or just playing hard in general. If there's a bobble, making sure we go and grab it, getting the 50-50 balls. So I feel like that's something we can control. We can always control getting those 50-50s if there's a bobble, if there's something like that. So I think we just need to do a better job refocusing. If it's starting out we have a few turnovers, I mean, that happens sometimes, but I think we just need to refocus and recenter and just pick it up from there in the future.
Coach kind of touched on it. She said be where her feet are, and like Lacey said, our couple practices leading up to this game weren't the greatest, but we can always bounce back. We just need to be in the moment and be patient with it. And IU Indy was doing a great job with pressuring us, and I think that kind of got us a little bit. But I think we just need to recenter and refocus and go into Big Ten with a chip on our shoulder.
Was that kind of the talk at halftime? I know it was kind of not a carbon copy, but it felt similar to that San Diego game where coming out of the break, you guys really kind of put the foot down in that third quarter. Was it just a similar kind of message, and just how pleased were you two with just the team's ability to execute there and really kind of get on a run to stretch things out?
I think the start of the game and the third quarter, we always want to come out really hard whenever we have a chance to sit down for a second and talk about our plan and stuff. So I think halftime we always kind of refocus, and we write 3 things we're doing well, 3 things we need to fix. So I think we did a good job communicating that in the locker room, and I think we came out better in the third quarter for sure.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm sure, go against Brianna in practice, have to defend her at times, and today was the day where her shot was going down, but she's done some pretty good things over the course of the season. I guess I'm wondering if each of you can kind of speak to what are some of the challenges when you face her in practice that maybe carry over to games that really make her a key piece of this team.
One thing is she's very good at kind of selling it, but I think that just makes us better with having to play with our hands up, moving our feet. Just being able to stick with her is a big part of it, and I just think she's a really good, she can change her pace very well, and I just think that's one thing that we also need to work on.
Yeah, and I think she's just a competitor. She always wants to get in your grill and just play hard, so I think that's always good to have her in practice challenging us every day.
I'm sorry, quick you said selling it. I think I know what you mean, but can you just explain what you mean when you say
Not really. Selling it, she just kind of, you can hear her on the court.
Yeah.
She is very vocal
When she
it.
gets fouled, like when
Yeah.
she's going up and she's like, oh, or like, you know, she sells it, which is
Very
very
vocal.
good.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have anybody foul out, but is there like a heavy talk among you players about kind of trying to kind of curb those fouls down, just what just the what's the mentality when it does it feel like you guys are like taking good fouls? I know you don't want to concede that and give them opportunities at the line, but just kind of what's kind of the talk about trying to kind of curb that down, and did they're just kind of their style of play just kind of lend to a heavier, like a foul heavy game for you guys?
I think, like, I remember in, like, the first quarter they shot, like, 12 free throws. And obviously that's way too many, like, for one quarter especially. So I think that's just us not being connected. Like, someone's late on the help or we're getting bent, which means, like, they just have an easy line drive or, like, stuff like that. So I feel like we just need to be connected and, like, being able to help each other and rotate. Because when you're late, it's way easier to get those foul calls. And having 12 free throws is way too many in the first quarter at all, so.
Any other questions for the student athletes? You two are good to go. Oh yeah, absolutely.
No, you're good. I had kind of noticed during kind of games that Shay is very quick to kind of talk or at least bring the team together in huddles, and that was before I saw the video that got put out of everybody kind of naming who their team mom is. Just what is her? How valuable is that presence of hers and just being very talkative in the moment, kind of all the time, it seems like, especially with just her broad experience, having been at 2 different schools and been around as long as she has?
I feel like being a grad, she has a very good grasp of the game, and she always has something, like, valuable to say. And I think from the jump, from the summer when we got here, we just kind of let her take on that role because she was amazing at it. She still is amazing at it, and I think that kind of helps us in those tough moments. She's always encouraging. She's always, like, saying we got this, and I think that just really helps us to keep going.
Yeah, and she's a big sister. I feel like that plays too. Like, she's a big sister of, like, I don't know how many siblings she has, but 3. So yeah, I feel like that also plays into it, like just being that encouraging voice.
Any other questions? Now you two are good to go.
Thank you.
Give me a hug.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right, we'll start with questions for Coach P.
Obviously, Destiny didn't play today. I guess I'm just curious, in terms of, are you expecting her back for the Big Ten opener, or is this, I'm not sure what her.
Yeah, for sure. She just had one of our practices kind of banged heads with somebody else and had to get some stitches. So I'm not sure how much I can share HIPAA-wise, but I mean, she's out for concussion protocol. Yeah, but she's definitely doing well.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, the players kind of touched on the, the fouls and how do you prevent those? And I guess you kind of touched on the turnovers. But in terms of, the number of fouls and them getting to the free throw line 30 times,
Yeah, it was all brutal, to be honest with you. I mean, we just did not play well. And again, I want to give credit to Indy. I thought they were a scrappy, disruptive defensive team. They made some things hard for us offensively. But at the same point, I'm a big believer you play like you practice. And, I just felt like our practices, they're a great group of young ladies. They were trying to be where their feet were. They love competing. They look forward to coming to practices, I believe. It's just this time of the year can be really challenging. And either you win it or you don't win it. I don't think we won this week in practice. And I thought that really carried over to today in our game. And so found a way to get it done, and I'm proud of them for that. But I'm confident we'll come back from Christmas break and be a lot more engaged and locked in on the task at hand.
you guys rebounding wise really dominated. And it kind of across the board. Just how pleased are you with the ability? Like, I think shot nearly 50%, got a handful of extra possessions and opportunities. Just how pleased were you with the rebounding effort, kind
Yeah,
of
I think-
across the board?
Yeah, I think it's really important you do find those positives, right, instead of just the outcome and the score and what you think it should be. And I thought, I think the first possession of the game, we had back-to-back-to-back offensive rebounds. And so, that's a point of emphasis for us. I think it's a controllable. I thought we did a really nice job with that. I was surprised to see we ended up where we did from a shooting percentage standpoint, but ended up shooting the ball, relatively well. Usually we're a little bit higher from that three-point line. Had some good looks that didn't fall for us. Shot it well from the free throw line. We just had too many empty possessions, obviously, with the amount of turnovers that we had. And then putting them at the free throw line, like you said. I mean, it just, understanding verticality, we're a step late on every rotation. You got to move together and you got to help the helper. And our timing was completely off. I thought we were very reactive defensively instead of proactive.
I don't know if you're a believer in plus minus, but I looked, you see Ronnie's, plus 18. Not a huge statistical game otherwise, but I guess I'm wondering, one, are you a believer in that? And for her today, is that indicative of her contribution?
Yeah, I think I am a believer in that. I think there's a story to be told. There's lots of different analytics that you can look at, but there is a story to be told with that. And for Ronnie, I just feel like her last probably 14 to 15 days of practice, she's been really on point for us. I just feel like she's really growing into more of a vocal leader. You can tell that she's on a mission. I think she feels more comfortable in our system, is getting a better understanding of what we need from her. Has done a great job facilitating. I think a lot of things, and this happens a lot of times for a point guard, but a lot of the intangibles, don't always show up in a stat line. But I think she's been super steady for us, and I think, just like I said, I think she's just understanding on a deeper level of what we're trying to get done within our flow offensively, and I think she's done a really good job with that.
Yeah, just say the work. I don't want to feel like I'm monopolizing the microphone or anything. Brianna's a player. Some games she won't. I think there's a game or two maybe she got 1 or 2 shots, and then, today I think she only maybe 5 or 6. But she, I guess I'm wondering if you can kind of speak to kind of the challenges for maybe a player like that. Last year, obviously, at her former school, she was probably their leading scorer and got a lot of opportunities. And then here it's a little, it kind of depends on the game. One, how much of a challenge have you seen that be for a player, and how maybe impressive is it for her to be able to kind of come in on a day when you don't have destiny and give you some scoring punch?
Yeah, I think it goes against human nature, right? To buy into something that's bigger than yourself. And that's what we're all trying to do as coaches, is get your team to buy into the bigger picture. And so I think for everyone, I think you can line them up. The amount of minutes Gifty played last year on her team, the amount of minutes that Ronnie played, the shot attempts that she had. For Bree, for sure. Like, I think there's a lot of players on this roster that their roles are a little bit different. But again, I think I think our depth has played a huge role for us, and I think it will continue to do that in Big Ten play. And I think just the connectedness that we have is so important. But is it a challenge for them? I think it definitely is. I mean, they're human, right? We all, have goals, but what we're trying to get done as a team has got to be the priority. And on any given night, you never know who it is going to be that's going to step up for you. And I think, even on our non-con, golly, I don't have this stat on it, but I feel like there's been several different leading scorers on several different nights. And so it's really about surrendering who gets the credit for something bigger than yourself. And I think our team has done a really, really good job of that.
like I asked the girls, just what was kind of your take on Shay being dubbed the team mom in the video, if you caught it, and just how valuable is that kind of presence, that veteran presence, especially having seen a lot of play? Like I'm sure she's wasn't thrilled about having to sit due to injury a couple of times, but being able to view the game from a different angle, just how much do you feel like that's benefited her, and in turn, how much has it benefited you guys having that presence on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, Shay's just, she's got a huge heart. You know, she loves people. She loves to connect. You know, she's got just that personality that I think people enjoy being around. She's got a lot of experience, not only through, you know, watching the game, unfortunately, from the sideline more than probably what she wanted, but basketball has been in her family. Her mom's a coach, a very successful AAU coach, and so she's just been around the game forever, and so I think she's got a high IQ. I think she sees the game through a coach's lens often. But I think the way that she pours into other people, I think it just talks a lot about her heart posture and who she is as a human being, and just her ability to really, I think she's a giver. You know, she wants to build other people up. I often talk to her about having as much grace for herself as she does other people, because she just she cares so much and just wants to be the best teammate that she can be, and no matter what that role looks like, shows up every day for her teammates. It's pretty special.
No, I'm good.
All right. I hope you guys have a great Christmas.